Hello everyone, welcome back to Labyrinth of Touhou 2. This time we're going to be discussing Momiji, the Petty Patrol Tengu. Now that's a kinda rude title for her, but let's start with the base stats. Momiji is rocking a massive 156 HP, 136 attack, 128 defense, 24 magic, 88 mind, 98 speed. Its base MP of 9, base TP of 20, HP recovery of 15, and MP rate of 2. Overall, those are some pretty interesting stats. At level 1, you have 119 HP, 72 attack, 68 defense, 16 magic, 48 mind, 103 speed, and 24 evasion. Your resistances to ailments are Poison, Paralysis, Heavy, and Shock are all 30, and then Tear, Silence, Death, and Debuff are all 20. And then your elemental resistances, without any boosts, are 100 Fire, 70 to Cold, 132 to Wind and Nature, 70 to Mystic, and then 100 to Spirit and Dark, and 132 to Physical. So, what do I think about Momiji? Well, starting with these stats, her HP is pretty good. Forgive me, I'm going to have to go and rearrange my party 1 second and add in Rinosuke and Kaine. So, let me check our statuses. 144 on Reimu, 142 on Kaine, and 134 on Rinosuke. All three of those are known as fairly good early game tanks. However, Momiji has them beat in raw HP. If you look at defense, 100, 112 with stat bonuses, 72 base, and 78. Momiji definitely takes the cake in terms of defense, and in mind, she just slightly lacks behind Reimu's base of 102 and Kaine's base of 90. But with her HP pool, that sort of makes up for it. Her speed, compared to the other starting units, is considerably higher, only being surpassed by Marissa of the 4 starting units. So you can already see just at the start how much more powerful these units are than your general starting unit. Well, we'll see about more powerful. Even with the great attacking stat, which surpasses the magic stats of all the other characters except for Marissa, again, who suffers from having this mono attack type and from being really frail and just bad moves. So, yeah, she can be good offensively as well. In fact, she's great offensively. But to look at that a bit more, we'll need to look at her skills. So, I guess I should mention, while her resistances are okay, her elemental affinities are okay, her resistance stats are terrible. So, that is one downside already, but I don't say that's that big of a downside. Looking at her abilities, let's look at her attacks. She sadly only has 2 of them, which is starting to look like a little bit of a problem. Costing 3 MP, you have a single target physical spell that deals 225% of your attack, minus 75% of the enemy's defense, and a 60% delay. As you can tell, this is a very high damaging attack for very little, and the delay isn't even that big, and it also pierces quite a bit of the enemy's defense, 25% of it. It's only good against one enemy, but against most bosses early on, you'll only be fighting one enemy, so this is a great boss killer. Especially with that great attacking stat and her decent speed, you're going to be getting this off quite a bit and just nomming away on those bosses. And for the early game, that's pretty great. We'll talk a bit more. Physical is not that bad early. Next up, we have Expelli's Cannon. 4 MP, hits all enemies with a wind element attack, which uses damage formula of 202% of your attack, minus 9% of the enemy's defense. So, the fact that you have low MP is made up for by the fact that these don't cost too much. However, using 2 of these will use up your entire MP pool at the start, and since while normal you get 10% bonus stats every level, you only get 1 MP every 14 levels, which is incredibly underwhelming. Not to mention your level of difficulty is rated at 57, which is kinda meh. And I guess I should mention that library costs are 52, which is about average. But I mean, overall, not bad. But yeah, that just means that you're not going to be getting the most amount of shots off. So you want to hit hard while the hitting's good, and make sure you equip yourself with some MP boosting main equipment. Though, as you can tell by those damage formulas, these both do hit very hard. And so if you have a lot of enemies, this Expelli's cannon is going to be your go-to AoE early game. Marissa, Asteroid Belt, yeah, kinda, but I mostly use Momiji. Yeah, also I should mention, this has a delay of 50, so it is a somewhat hefty delay, but overall not too bad. Looking at your passive skills, we have HP boost, attack boost, and defense boost, just exactly what you would want. As well as you have motivated hard, hands-on experience, won't talk about those anymore. And then next up, finally, you have good passive skills. You have ability to see far distances. And used on the frontliner, all accuracy increases by 25 or 50%. This is stupid. Just you always hit with this. So the problem is that it's also kind of bad, because for the most part, you're putting stats into something that doesn't deal damage. And most attacks aren't going to miss anyways, especially early game. It isn't until a long time later that you get some characters with moves that have some slight accuracy problems, though it never drops to the point where you're going to miss more than you hit, or even miss a noticeable amount that you would want to increase your accuracy, with the exception of one character later in the game. But honestly, bringing Momiji into that fight purely for accuracy boost totem is kinda stupid. It's not that stupid, but it's just not the best. Not to mention that we have main equipments that do the same thing, but better. And main equipments are kinda not too hard to just throw on something, since they're not very good anyways. Throwing on accuracy one isn't too bad. Anyways, next one, we have Tengu's Watchful Eyes. Damage against flying enemies increases while Momiji in the front line. It's not stacked with similar effects, so not bad. There isn't too many flyer enemies, but if you do run into any, this is fairly good. Upon the user's turn, the user's speed increases by 10%. This is great. Her speed isn't that. I mentioned her base speed is surpassed by Marissa, but with that, she actually gets a decent speed buff. Later in the game, this becomes completely irrelevant, but early game, this allows you to get off your rabies bites over and over again very quickly. And also gives you, of course, the ability to get more concentrates off faster, so you can make up for your lack of mana pool. Next up, I Perceive Reality. This is the biggest thing for Momiji. The user attacks or is attacked by enemies with buffs. The damage is calculated as if the enemy buffs are non-existent. Only a couple enemies actually use buffs, but against those, this is very good. Notably, I guess, no, Tenchi not really, but I guess Tenchi kinda. I don't know, there are a couple enemies that use buffs, but Tenchi you're probably not gonna be hitting. I guess if you can use her with yeah, you could use her in a Tenchi fight, but yeah, this allows you to deal a little bit more damage, and of course allows you to be more tanky, of course, since the enemy's attack buffs are non-existent. What I meant is, this is actually the reason why I remember her being used, which is for this, instant attack. When you're brought to the front liner, use the action bar reset at 10,000, which means you have a free action as soon as you come in. This is really good in combination with other instant attack uses. You bring one in, they get their action bar filled up, then you switch them out, and then the next one does, and you just keep switching back and forth between the two of them, and they're always getting free actions as soon as they come in. It's just an endless, not infinite loop, since someone has to be switching them out. but as soon as you switch out one of them, you get it, and then you can switch out the other one, they get another turn, and you just get a lot of turns really quickly without even having to worry about your speed. So overall, what does this make Momiji? Well, it's pretty interesting. Accelerated instant attack means she can get a lot of attacks off, which works well with her very low-cost things, but still, with the lack of MP pool, you'll still need to concentrate in between there sometime, since, yeah, she just doesn't have the MP pool to support these attacks. Eyes That Perceive Reality is situationally good, but it's not that great. Tango's Watchful Eyes hits bad very little, whereas accuracy is not that important. So overall, she's just she's a lump of stats. That's what I have to say. Her stats are pretty good, but overall, her passives don't give her too much. Well, so, I don't know, she fills the niche of a bruiser quite well enough. She has great HP, great defense, great mind, well, not great, but good enough, especially early game. So, and she also has good attack. So what would I use it for? Early game, Guardian's not a bad idea. While you do get better tanks, probably by the time you get your first Stone of Awakening, she still can tank hits fairly well with her HP and defense. Same with Monk, and this allows her to take a little bit more damage. Oh no, you have accuracy and evasion increase. What is this? Increases all stats, not bad for her. And recover a bit of HP. And makes you a bit faster, allowing you to go more. So if you have a really good main equipment for getting your MP up, then that's not bad. Problem is that with Monk you run into the lack of MP very quickly. That is Momiji's biggest hindrance, is her MP pool. Warrior of course allows her to take on a more damage dealing role, which like I mentioned is fairly good for her. Magic is the one thing that Momiji does not excel at, since her magic stat is absolutely abysmal, never takes Sorcerer. She lacks any healing spells, any buff spells, any debuff spells, any status spells, and her MP pool is absolutely terrible. Increasing it with Magician may seem good, but then you lose all the other benefits of Magician, so it's very situational, because that means you're also not using another subclass which just increases your damage anyways. Herbalist is kinda interesting since it gives her a unique supporting role as a tank with a buff, but most of the time you're going to be wanting to use her for her attacking stuff, so she has some decent attacks, though I could totally see this being used. Strategist isn't bad since she can work as a bruiser that also provides good auras, especially with her accuracy and flying type enemy aura already up. She can be a decent totem. Gambler of course means that you're going all in on your attack, which kinda negates your good HP, which you really need since your attacking stat is not good enough on its own to make you amazing. It's only okay, but you are amazing due to the fact that your HP and defense stats allow you to stay in longer than any other attacker. Diva is Diva. I mean, there's no other synergies with Diva, but Diva is always Diva. And then Transcendent, which increases all stats. This is really good on Momiji, as unlike Gambler, which increases your mana cost, thus further, increasing the problem of your non-existent mana pool. Transcendent does not do that, but it gives you a boost to all stats, meaning you can stay in longer, because with the damage decrease, it means that your already good tanking stats are even better, not to mention you deal more damage, so it makes use of your attack stat. Overall, the problems that Momiji mostly suffers from is her shallow move pool. As you can see, she only has a wind and physical attack, and her wind attack costs 4 MP and hits all enemies, making it a lot less strong than her physical attack. Meaning she's mostly a physical mono attacker with the exception of a single fight in which you actually want window AoE, or 2 of them. You'll see those in my Let's Play. But there are 2 good fights for her. But other than that, she's mostly just a physical mono attacker, sadly. Her attacks don't hit too hard, especially later games she falls off very hard, but early games, since you get her on the first floor, she will carry you quite a way with a good AoE attack to clear lots of enemies to get EXP, as well as a good single target attack that can crush bosses until obviously they outscale you and you get better attackers to replace her. At that point, you still have her as a sort of bruisery sort of character, but she gets rapidly outpaced by other characters. Overall, while I do like to say good things about Momiji, she just sadly isn't up there with a lot of the other characters. That's why for the tier list, I'm gonna have to put her in C tier. As for why she is in C tier, to compare to the other characters, well, actually no, I'm thinking B tier. Sorry, I forgot I put Marissa in C tier. I get my tiers mixed up. B tier. Sorry. So we have an S, an F, a C, a B, and an A. While Veimu and Kaine are both provide very good utility that never becomes irrelevant, sadly Momiji's abilities all become irrelevant. And Marissa starts off good early game, the late game becomes a very useless or very one-dimensional character. Momiji also falls off the late game, however she does have her innate stats to back her up on, and later on you can bolster her MP pool and give her a lot of other buffs. So she still lacks a lot of diversity, but as a physical mono attacker she is fairly good, whereas Marissa is really just a master spot cannon. Honestly, you may think I'm ragging on Marissa a bit too much because she's useful, and Momiji is technically not later in the game, but I still say I would rather use Momiji in a late game fight than Marissa. Honestly, I never use Marissa after like the 3rd or 4th floor, whereas I use Momiji situationally up to like the 10th floor, and then occasionally tried to pull her out for a fight or two afterwards. And yeah, I never pulled Marissa out at all in the late game. Because she just gets outclassed, whereas Momiji has more of a unique role. Overall, that's my sort of reasoning for why she is B tier compared to S, A, and C, and then F tier. Rinosuke does not need any explanation for why he's F tier. And so, yeah, that's about it. Next time, we'll be going on to, well, a same character with a different name, Yomu Kanpaku. And we'll see why I called them the same character next time. Until then, see ya.